We'd been there for just a minute before I noticed the small boy alone in the minivan. I walked over to it. "Where are your parents?" I asked. "They're coming," he said. The parking lot pullout was empty except for us and the beige minivan. My husband was still near the trees with the kids, dealing with an emergency bathroom stop that had already turned into yelling. Wind pushed through the overlook hard enough to shake the branches overhead. The van windows were fully down. That was wrong. Cold day, no adults nearby, no keys in the ignition. Just this kid sitting upright in the second row with his feet dangling above the floor. I stepped closer and looked inside. Fast food wrappers, a water bottle, no adult jacket. Nothing that suggested someone had stepped away for 30 seconds. "Did they tell you to stay here?" I asked, and he nodded. "How long ago?" He shrugged. Then he said quietly, "It's okay." Not like he believed it, but like he practiced it. Behind me, my husband called my name. I turned. He was coming back through the trees with our younger daughter clinging to his sleeve. "There you are," he said. And then he saw the boy in the van, and his whole expression tightened. "There's a kid alone in here," I said. Our oldest daughter came around the side of the van before either of us could stop her. "Why is he by himself?" she asked. "Back up," my husband said immediately. The boy's eyes tracked my husband's mouth when he spoke. "Hey, buddy," my husband said. "Where'd your parents go?" "They're coming." "When?" The boy looked toward the trees. Not at the overlook, not at the road. At the trees. My husband followed his gaze. There were narrow breaks in the brush behind the parking pullout, paths people had made over time. They disappeared downhill into thicker woods. No voices came from down there, no movement. My husband pulled out his phone, but there was no signal. He walked toward the overlook edge, holding the phone up. Nothing. Our younger daughter tugged at my sleeve. "Can we leave now?" "Not yet," I said. The wind shifted again. That was when I noticed the smell. Not strong, not dramatic. Just stale air rolling out of the van every time the breeze changed direction. Hard to describe it, like clothes left wet for too long. My husband crouched slightly beside the open window. "How do you open the doors?" he asked. The boy didn't touch the handle. "They said not to." "Why?" The boy said, "If I get out, I won't be here anymore." None of us spoke for a second. Our oldest daughter made a face. "What does that mean?" "Get back in our car," my husband said to her. Sharper this time. She hesitated and then obeyed. I looked at the inside door handle of the van. There's a child lock. The rear sliding door couldn't be opened from inside. I reached through the open window toward the exterior handle. It was locked too. I tried again, harder. Nothing. "Can you unlock it?" I asked the boy. He stared at me, said plainly, "They said not to." "Who said that?" There was no answer. My husband moved around to the driver's side and checked that door. Locked too. "All of them are locked," the boy said quietly. I felt something change right there. Not panic, sort of pressure. Because now this just wasn't a kid waiting in a car. Someone had locked him inside and left. My husband tried the phone again. Still no reception. "We need to find service," he said. "And leave him here?" I asked. "What else do you want to do?" I looked back at the boy. He was rubbing his thumb against the seam of the seat over and over. Slow and repetitive. Like he'd been sitting there a long time. Then he suddenly looked past me toward our SUV. "They're here," he whispered. I turned immediately. There was nobody. Just our car sitting crooked in the gravel. The rear passenger door was open. I knew I'd shut it. My husband saw it too. "You left that open?" he asked. "No," I said. Our younger daughter was inside buckling herself in. Our oldest was staring out the opposite window. "Did one of you open the door?" I shouted. Both girls shook their heads. My husband walked quickly back to the SUV. I stayed beside the minivan. The boy was still staring toward the trees. And then I heard it, a crunch, farther down the slope behind us, heavy enough to be a person. I looked. There was nothing visible between the trees. Another crunch. Closer. "Hello?" my husband shouted. There was no answer. The boy's breathing seemed to get shallower. "They're mad," he said. My stomach tightened. "Who?" He looked directly at me for the first time. "Because you talked to me." My husband reached the SUV and froze. "What?" I called. He opened the rear hatch. Everything inside had been moved. Not stolen, but moved. The emergency kit was open. There were blankets on the ground. Our food bag dumped sideways, like someone had searched through it quickly. The kids started talking over each other. "What happened? Who touched our stuff? I want to go." My husband scanned the tree line, but there was nobody there. No engine sounds, no approaching cars, just the wind. Then another crack, like shifting wood from the trees. Our youngest daughter started crying. "Get in the car," my husband said. "We are in the car. No, both of you, get down." He shoved them lower into the seats. Another crunch came from the woods. Closer, definitely footsteps now. Slow and deliberate. I walked backward from the minivan to the SUV, and then I saw it. The hood of the SUV wasn't fully latched anymore. Not open, just slightly raised, like someone had let it drop without slamming it. The boy watched me go. "You can't leave," he said. The words hit harder because he sounded sorry. My husband climbed into the driver's seat and hit the ignition. Nothing. No starter. Nothing. Completely dead. "That's impossible," he muttered. The car had been fine 10 minutes ago. He tried again, but nothing. I got in and slammed my door, and the footsteps stopped for a moment. Silence pressed against the windows. Then someone tapped on the rear glass. One tap. Not hard. All four of us turned, but we didn't see anyone. Our oldest daughter whispered, "Dad." He twisted around in his seat. The rear hatch was partially open now. He swore and jumped back out. I grabbed his arm. "Don't." "What do you mean, don't?" he said. "Don't split up." The trees behind the overlook moved slightly. Not wind. Something passing between them. Low enough that I only caught pieces. A shoulder, a dark sleeve. Gone again. My husband saw it too. He popped the hood and exited the SUV. I heard him mutter, "What the hell?" and then call up to me, "The battery's disconnected." 5 seconds later, he slammed the hatch shut, got back in, looked around as he did. The boy suddenly started yelling again, quickly. "They said people stop because of me." Neither of us answered. "They said good people always stop." My younger daughter started crying harder. "Mom, they said if people stop long enough, then they can't leave fast." "Stop talking," my husband snapped at the boy, and he flinched, and then lowered his voice. "They watch from down there." A shape moved between the trees again, closer this time. Definitely a person. From somewhere downhill, a whistle answered. Not loud, short, like a signal. Another whistle came from farther left, a response. My husband finally looked scared, not worried. "We're leaving." He jammed the key into the ignition. This time it worked, and the engine turned over. Another whistle, closer now. The kids were screaming inside the car. I looked toward the woods again and finally saw one of them clearly. A man standing halfway between the trees, watching, not hiding anymore. Average height, dark jacket, hands at his sides. He didn't move toward us. That was worse, because it meant he didn't need to. Another figure appeared farther back between the trees, and then another. The boy in the minivan covered his ears. "They're coming," he yelled to us. This time it wasn't a reassurance. My husband threw the SUV into gear and accelerated. The tires spit gravel, the engine roared. The rear bumper clipped the log barrier behind us. The wood cracked. The SUV slid sideways. As we fishtailed toward the road, I looked back once. The man near the trees hadn't moved. Neither had the boy. He was still sitting upright inside the locked van, watching us leave. My husband drove too fast around the curves. Nobody spoke. The kids cried quietly in the back. The GPS kept rerouting. 10 minutes later, we passed another turnout. Empty. Another. Empty. Finally, we came to a gas station. It was open. Lights on, people inside. My husband almost hit the pump pulling in. We called the police immediately, tried to explain everything. The overlook, the van, the child, people in the woods. The dispatcher kept asking for road names we didn't know. We waited there for nearly an hour. No officers came, no calls back, nothing. Later that night, after we finally reached a motel, my husband went outside to get our bags. He dug around in the back of the SUV for a moment, and then abruptly stopped moving. Sitting there, tucked carefully between the blankets we'd picked up off the gravel earlier, was the plastic dinosaur from the minivan.